Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me and it's the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's gonna be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and the continued support. I really do appreciate it. So here we are, guys. We're back. We're back, second year in a row. This is the second annual First Lady Reads Awards. Yay, we're here. We're here. This has taken a year to get here, but we are finally here and we are about to find out who the winners of my Best of 2023 are. If you are new to me and you have never heard of the First Lady Reads Awards, that's okay. This is the only second year for it. But let me just give you a rundown of kind of what it is. The First Lady Reads Awards is my kind of unique way of bringing to you my Best of 2023. When I read a book, I break it down into a lot of different categories: hero, heroine, world building, plot, sex scenes. You know, the standard categories, the standard. And I thought that all of those characters and all of those elements deserve their own kind of best of. So instead of bringing you 14 best of videos, I am combining it all into one big video in award style fashion, themed after one of my favorite award shows, which is the Academy Awards. So if you are interested in finding out who my best hero, my best heroine, my best villain, my best sex scene, and of course, my best book of 2023 was, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, grab yourself some popcorn, because it's going to be a long one, and let's get talking some books. Okay. Oh my God, we're here, guys. We're here. I'm so excited. This is one of the videos that takes the most preparation, the most thought process, the most breaking down. This is one of my tougher videos to film because I have to pick just one. And 14 times I have to pick just one. And it's very emotionally daunting, but I love this. This is so much fun, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this award show. But just like any other award show, we have to do the red carpet because we have to find out what we're wearing. Okay, so I don't have a red carpet. So I have a tan carpet and I sit on it, not walk it. So sitting on my tan carpet, what I am wearing today is a dress from Lane Bryant that I actually wore when I got my wedding blessed. I was married October 31st of 2020 in a non-Catholic ceremony, and a year later I went to the Catholic Church, me and my husband, and I wore this dress while the priest blessed our marriage. So in the eyes of the church, I'm good. Yeah. So this dress does hold some quite good memories to me, but it is from Lane Bryant, and I love it because Lane Bryant does make me feel very, very sexy. Us curvy ladies, we need to feel sexy too, okay? And as for my jewelry, I am always wearing my chocolate Livian diamonds, which I always rock. These are my diamonds of choice, and these are also all gifted to me by my husband, who is my date for this evening, but he's asleep. So he'll just catch up later. And another piece I like to point out is this pendant. You've seen it before. This was actually gifted to me by my mother-in-law 2 years ago. It's got my initial on it, and it's a little book with a little message on the inside. Yeah, I love this necklace. It's one of my favorites. So I wanted to definitely represent it this year in the First Lady Reads Awards. So there you go. There's my pre-show award show fashion moment. Cool. Let's do this. Let's get into the actual show, which is why you're here. Let's get into the books. So I have 14 categories, all broken down by best audiobook, best original first installment, best hero, best heroine, best supporting male character, all of that jazz. All of these categories have an equivalent Oscar category. One is stretching and the other one is my own creation, okay? It's my own creation. We're just gonna go with it. So without further ado, let's get started. Tell me if you've heard this one before. A math teacher with a surprise baby on the way. A cowboy who hates milk. A masked internet celebrity with a voice for sin. And the Lord of the Flesh Eaters walk into a hotel run by a rugby player who's embraced his primal side. You ever heard this one before? Probably not, but I have. I've heard the delicious, arousing words dripping in sex. I've heard the primal moans of pleasure when the prey has finally been caught. I've heard the guttural pains from a man who is not a man, but rather a decomposing bag of flesh and bone. And I've heard the shock and stutters of a man who just wanted a one-night stand. I've also heard the longing for just one more ride, just to give it up for a sweet cowgirl and some whipped cream. These stories might not all be great, and some might be epic, but the voices that tell the story, well, they're the ones that make them memorable. They make it stand out above the rest. And their vocal talents made them this year's nominees for Best Audiobook. Here are your nominees. Games We Play by Dana Eiley, narrated by V.O. Eros. Bring Me Flesh and I'll Bring Hell by Martin Rose, narrated by Christian Rummel. The Four Leaf by Lee Jaquot, narrated by Jacqueline Kelso and V.O. Eros. Flawless by Elsie Silver, narrated by Sebastian York and Emma Wilder. Getting Played by Emma Chase, narrated by Andy Arndt and Zachary Weber. And the winner for Best Audiobook of 2023 is Bring Me Flesh and I'll Bring Hell by Martin Rose, narrated by Christian Rummel. Okay, so let me get into this, guys. I had one of the hardest decisions with this category, so I wanted to get it out of the way right off the top. There were so many well done performances in this year's nominees that it was very, very difficult. It came down to not only the performance of the narrator, but also the quality of the story. In this category, I tend to focus on the performance of the narrator because a narrator can make or break a story when it comes to audiobooks. And some of these narrators made stories for me. But this book, the book by itself also could stand on its own even without the audio. The audio only accentuated this epic fucking tale. So let me tell you about it. So we follow Vitus Adamson, who is a detective, a pre-deceased detective. Yes, that's the word they use in the book. He suffered an experiment in the army, and it basically killed his body and turned him into what sort of like a zombie. And he does have some zombie fugue states, but he still has his mental facilities and his mental faculties. And he works with the local police to help kind of the odder cases. And we meet him with literally his jaw falling off because he's a zombie. His body is literally deteriorating every single day, but his mind and soul are still intact. A very, very weird setup for a story. And Christian Rummel accentuated this character. The gravelly voice he gave, the nature of the storyline, and the intensity that he gave our character. Our character is not a happy one. He is miserable. I mean, his body is falling apart. Would you be happy? No. I don't even like happy rolling out of bed when I hear all these aches and creaks and things. I'm not even happy, and I'm not falling apart. But the pain and the hopelessness that Christian Rummel lends to his to our character within his vocal talents is just absolutely amazing. And I just had the greatest time because when I find out what the storyline is with Vitus Addison having to locate a missing boy who happens to be the spitting image of his own son who he killed, well, that allowed Christian Rummel to add this layer of intrigue now into his vocal performance, which was just astounding. Not only do I have this gravelly, wet, noisy, squishy sounding voice, but now I have intent behind it and I have reason behind it, and it was absolutely stunning. And as this acid trip of a book goes on and gets creepier and scarier and twistier and grosser, yeah, and more and more eye-openingly odd, Christian Rummel's voice just accentuates and excels and grows, and every new challenge that our character faces, he adds this layer to his voice that you can clearly hear as the reader and as the listener. You can hear it, you can feel it, and it's freaking amazing. I had such a good time with this. I continued on with the second book, which is also narrated by Christian Rummel. Highly recommend this one. If you are into dark horror with really creepy undertones, there's a lot of trigger warnings in this one, so please be warned. And if you're not a big fan of self-mutilation and feeding your own body to somebody, well, stay away. But if that sounds interesting and you want an epic audio performance, check this one out. You won't regret it. You might be scared and you might question, why did I listen to this? But you won't regret that performance. So congratulations to Bring Me Flesh and I'll Bring Hell by Martin Rose, narrated by Christian Rimmel. You are the best audiobook of 2023. What does it mean to be the first? What does it mean to be the original? It means there's nothing preceding you, nothing to give you guidance. There is no foundation to build a structure upon. It is just the absence of existence. In the case of this year's nominees for Best Original or First Installment to a Series, our authors had to pull from their own past and personal references, but also create and imagine new places and times. Our authors had to dive deep into the spectrum of human emotion to garner feelings and desires that not only transcend, but equal the human experience. So what does it mean to actually be the original? It means no rules, no regulations, full creative license to take what we know and strip it bare. To take what we've seen and push us to see more. To relive what we've already lived, but learn a different lesson. This year's nominees have done all of this and more. They have given us a platform to guide us. They've given us a foundation to build a strong structure upon. They no longer cease to exist, but rather have opened up worlds that at one time did not. Here are your nominees for Best Original or First Installment to a Series.
Haunt, the Love Letting series by Christina Maraziatis. The Witcher, The Last Wish, The Witcher series by Andrzej Sapkowski. Flawless, the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. Love You Always, Love in Beverly Mills series by Lauren Lacey.
This one was really hard. I have got books in this category that have given me a story and a platform to build upon, but it is nowhere close to being done. I know there are so many more twists and turns that, can I really say it's the best if it's only a drop in the pail to the grand story that it's laid out? I have installments in here that are a collection of short stories that give me a good foundation of who I'm going to be dealing with in the upcoming series. But do I really need these stories? Why couldn't I have had these within the story? But would I have appreciated that character going into that installment if I didn't have these? I have two works in this category that are interconnected standalones within their series, but I feel that you need to read them to really appreciate the next couple's story. So how do you decide what the best first installment is? How do you decide what the best original is? One that gives you questions and gives you that tingle and that nervousness of what's to come. The one that kind of gives you some cushion to know what you're dealing with. Or the ones that ripped your heart out. And you know in the next coming installments it's going to do the same thing, just in different forms. Or the one that gave you a really happy ending and the setup of something great coming down the road. How do you decide? I don't know. I don't know how to decide this. So I'm just going to go with my gut. And my gut says that the best original or first installment of a series that I read in 2023 is Haunt by Christina Maraziatis. This is the first installment to what is called the Love Letting series. Currently, there are 3 books out. There is ideas already played out for 20. And with this first installment, I think I'll be around for all 20. This first installment introduced so many unique characters with so many different plot lines and storylines and ways that she could go and take these characters. This gothic Victorian Western set me on a trajectory that I have no idea where the hell I'm going, and I don't care because I just want to be along for the damn ride. This book ripped my heart out and made me look at it and then somehow put it back together where I would be okay. But not the same. Definitely not the same. There were unanswered questions, just enough to make me want to keep going. There were twists and turns, and there were things that didn't make sense. There was random pieces of knowledge just thrown in there that you have no idea what they're for. But you have to take a leap of faith and just keep going, and they will get answered. So to me, the best first installment to a series of 2023 is this book, because it's the one that made me want to keep going, and I know that I will. Because there are so many unanswered questions. There are so many characters that stories have barely begun. And I know for a fact no one's safe. Nobody. It's made very, very clear. And then there's these things that have just happened that you know mean something down the road, but you have no idea how they interconnect. And the puzzle solver in me just wants to put everything together to see the picture of this story that Marziatis has created. So, congratulations, Christina. Haunt is the best first installment and best original of 2023. Between two covers only, these next nominees gave me a Puritan, outspoken woman accused of witchcraft, a dualist pair of spiritualists in the 1800s that needed to solve a problem that men could not. They gave me a Romeo and Juliet retelling dripping with intrigue, witchcraft, and of course, unresolved love. They have given me characters that make rash decisions without all the proper information, and characters whose brains and blunt attitudes started a revolution. It also gave me a young girl who survived atrocities that no one could imagine, only to have to fight even harder when she came home. These nominees have left no questions unanswered, no stone unturned, but they have given me memories that I will hold forever and always. Here are your nominees for Best Standalone of 2023.
The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. Slewfoot by Brahm. Finding Home, Hungary, 1945 by Dean Syken. Love Deleted by Paul Indigo.
And the winner for Best Standalone of 2023, Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. When deciding the winner of this category, this is the one that I kind of already knew was going to take the cake. I absolutely adored this book. I read it for my book club with a big group of my friends, and this book pissed me off, broke my heart, invigorated me, and made me want to fight back. Bonnie Garmis, with her character of Elizabeth Zott and Elizabeth Zott's brains, started a revolution through cooking. She subversively told the world that women could do things, that we were more than just homemakers. And she did it on television. The complexities of this book and the way the story was told was phenomenal. We get multiple POVs, even from a point of view from a dog. Elizabeth Zott is not an easy character to love. She's an outspoken, intelligent chemist who stands on her own 2 feet and doesn't need you. And she's a rower, so watch out. They're kind of strong, okay? They are. I loved this story. I loved what it did for me. I loved that Bonnie Garmis was not afraid to shy away from what women experienced in the time period of this book. They were not treated as equals. Some were only treated as sex objects, and Elizabeth Zott was not treated any differently, even though she had a brain to rival anybody in her field, including her husband, who, love that guy. That was fucking great. Kind of wish he was into more of it, but, you know, live and learn. This story is one that will move you to act, move you to think, and move you to speak out. And I believe it is the best standalone I read because it made me want to do all those things. It made me want to walk into a room, head held high, chest out, and say, yeah, I'm a chick, but screw you. Screw you. I can start a revolution through something that you think that's the only thing I'm good at. And I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was phenomenal. I have yet to watch the show that's based off of because, well, let's just be honest, sometimes television representations of books are not always the best, so I'm still reserving my right to watch it. So I have not seen the show, but I loved this book. So if you're looking for something that will set a fire underneath you and make you proud of who you are and where as a gender we have come from, pick this one up because you won't regret it. But be warned, it will hurt and it will cause you to be very angry because it does not shy away from what women went through and the stereotypes and that were held about us and what was done to us in certain circles. So please be warned with your trigger warnings, but this is definitely something you want to pick up. It's fan-freaking-tastic, and I hope that you guys will. So congratulations to Bonnie Garmis and Lessons in Chemistry for being 2023's best standalone. Whether it's a bold color, or a muted color scheme with a faded image, or just a hauntingly perfect one. These nominees for Best Cover of 2023 will transport you with just a look. They will lure you into a false sense of security because they will continue to haunt you once the story is done. These covers transcend book covers. They have reached the level of artwork. So whether it is that bright, bold graphic, or those muted flowers, or the paintbrush strokes of the painting that you're representing, or just the know-with-all and the talent to know when to click that button to take the perfect, hauntingly beautiful image. Here are your nominees for Best Cover of 2023.
Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. Original cover artwork done by Jim Tierney. The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner. Original cover artwork done by Kathleen Odit and Alita Sideropoulos. Haunt by Christina Marziatis. Original artwork and photography done by Christina Marziatis and Lee Browning and Zell. Slewfoot by Brahm. Original artwork done by Brahm. Curse by Christina Marziatis. Original artwork and photography done by Christina Marziatis and Lee Browning and Zell.
I am what you would call a cover whore. I love a good cover. I love what it can do. I look at them as if they're pieces of art, decorating my bookshelves and decorating my home. The cover alone can tell a story. And when I'm looking for a beautiful cover, I don't really have a criteria except what speaks to me. And what speaks to me depends on my day, on my mood, on whatever's going on in my life. But out of this year's nominees, there was one cover that when I saw it, it didn't matter what I was going through. I needed to know. When I saw that image, I needed to know the story behind it. Who was it? What did they do? Why do they look so pained and angry, but yet not hopeless? Like there's something on the other side that they just have to get through. I needed to know. So yes, this category was hard to choose, but at the same time, that same feeling has never left when I see this picture. Now, I know the story within it, but it's not done yet. So I can still look at this cover and feel that same sense of want and need to know. But now, sometimes when I look at this cover, it feels as if it's almost watching me, following me. Congratulations, Christina Marziatis and Lee Browning-Enzel, for having the best cover of 2023 with Haunt by Christina Marziatis. I love this cover. I love it. This is a piece of artwork. And one thing I love the most about this cover is that Christina Marziatis actually took this photo herself, and this is her husband. So not only did she write a hauntingly beautiful story within these covers, but she gave me an image and a piece of her talent and her artwork that I can clearly display to the world. And they don't even have to read the book. They should read the book. But if they don't, because it is kind of fat, all right, it is. She thick. But I can still display the artwork that she's able to produce. This is my favorite cover and one of my favorite stories that's on my shelf. And if you've seen any of my videos, you know this cover usually sits right here. Because when I saw this cover, the eyes drew me in. And I wanted to know the answers to my questions. And I wanted to know all the whys and wheres and hows and whos and whens. I needed to know. And I don't have all those answers because this is only the first installment in what appears to be a very, very long series of thick tomes. But I'm okay. And now this cover sits on my shelf proudly and just kind of spies on me. Congratulations, Christina and Lee, for creating one of the most beautiful covers of 2023, but also one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. Your talent is impeccable, and I cannot wait to own more pieces of your artwork on my shelves and maybe on my walls one day. Congratulations. In a small town on a front porch, a girl claims ownership of her sexual desires and meals. A morning breakfast where a man finally makes a woman actually taste like strawberries and cream. And a man with 5 others living in him dominates a butterfly. What do all of these have in common? Seduction, dominance, and a sweet, sweet release. Here are your nominees for Best Erotic Scene of 2023.
Butterfly and Atlas by Lucian Bain. Colton Butterfly. Heartless by Elsie Silver. The Front Porch Scene. Love You Always by Lauren Lacey. Strawberries for Breakfast.
And the winner for the Best Erotic Scene of 2023 goes to Heartless by Elsie Silver, The Front Porch Scene. Let me set this up. So we've got Willa Grant and Cade Easton. Cade Easton is a single dad, and Willa Grant is his nanny who watches his young son. Now, mind you, he's already met Willa earlier in the installment, and when he encountered her during her interview for his nanny, he was holding her black lacy underwear in his back pocket. Cade is what we like to call a grump. This is a very grumpy, sunshine-themed book. And through a series of events, this grumpy sunshine dynamic has turned into a secret dominance that we didn't know Cade possessed, and a fire that Willa constantly turns and ignites and builds and grows. And it culminates on a front porch where Cade says one of the best lines of the year. And Willa, without missing a beat, drops to her knees and calls his bluff. This scene is super, super hot, okay? You're gonna wanna be alone when you read this scene, or with someone that you can jump immediately, okay? No questions asked. Because there's no safe words after the scene happens. Let's just put it that way. They don't exist anymore. Because you need it. It's that hot. But the reason I chose it for the Best Erotic Scene of 2023 is not really the actual action that's taking place. Well, don't get me wrong. That's one of my favorite acts of all time. Yes, that's amazing. I love it. Cheers. However, I picked it because of Willa Grant's inner monologue. Because during her inner monologue, while she's performing this act on Cade, she is not feeling disgraced or put down or lesser than. She feels empowered. She feels like a woman. She feels everything, and she knows that Cade only feels what she allows. And this is something I have been preaching my entire life, okay? My entire life. This is one of my favorite actions because I'm in control of it. I'm a total control freak if you haven't figured that out yet. But that's why I picked this scene, because finally someone said it. And I just adored it. So I had to give the award, the First Lady Award for Best Erotic Scene, to the front porch scene of Heartless, because it is not only epically hot and steamy, but it's also proof in page, letters on a page, that I am not crazy for feeling this. And I've been preaching this for years, that this is not an act to feel degraded in and to feel less than. It's an act to be empowered by and embrace and enjoy that you do, because you are in complete and total control of their sensations. And I just, I could not get enough of this scene. I reread it a bunch of times. I had to, and it was just so amazing. It was absolutely stunning. So congratulations, front porches, and my favorite act. Who knew? The Latin word for world is mundus. The Latin word for building or builder is edificator. But the Latin term for world builder is mundi fabricator. So just like language, when you take two different things and put them together, they synthesize, and their original existence is changed and developed into something more. This is the common theme for our nominees for Best World Building in 2023. Our edificators, if you will, have taken the Gothic West and the subconscious and twisted it and turned it and manipulated it to where a serial killer is the one you're rooting for and the bounty hunter is the one that you fear. They have taken the past and the present and intertwined them in a way that young love can be shared once more. But is it shared the same, or did we learn our lesson? They've transported us in a boxcar back home to Hungary to find that the Hungary that we left is not there anymore. And we have to fight to get it back. But the music that allowed us to survive our first atrocities transports us to an ethereal experience that completely lets us forget that our home that once was is no longer. They've taken Romeo and Juliet and The Sopranos and thrown a dash of witchcraft and family values and birthed a tragedy that will rival that of Hamlet. They've taken a brazen woman with a secret and a being who's created from literally nothing, combined them to show what real power looks like. And finally, they've taken a man who desires nothing more than control, and a wayward girl in a cage to create a dark and emotionally eviscerating love that can only shine like gold in sunlight. Here are your nominees for Best World Building.
Love You Always by Lauren Lacey. Finding Home, Hungry, 1945 by Dean Syken. Haunt by Christina Maraziatis. One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery, Brahm. In His Cage by Ella Jacobs.
This was one of the hardest decisions I have made this year. I thought I knew what it was. I thought in my gut I knew. But when I started re-looking at everything, I feel like it needs to be something else. Because you see, the nominees this year, I have worlds that are not done being built. They're still developing. I'm still learning their secrets and their nuances. I have worlds that were built only on time. And time is relative to whoever is experiencing it. I have a world that does exist. So how is it best if you had so much representation to go off of? It was the world you created in that world that excelled. But you needed the base to formulate it. I have worlds that clash things together in the weirdest of fashion, but it works. It's like that car that's so ugly it's cute. It just works. I have a world of imagining that's dark and scary, but yet shown in the most beautiful light. And then I have a world that's strictly in your mind. A world that to the outside person should not be wanted, should not be tolerated. But through the story that was told, this world becomes one that I want to know, that I'm scared, but I want to know. So how do you fucking pick that? How? I thought I'd go with my gut, but my gut and my heart are speaking two different languages right now. And my heart is being very, very loud. Very loud. So I need to make a decision. I need to make one. Here it is. Your winner for Best World Building of 2023 is a world that's not yet done. But even though it's not done, I still want to go. Haunt by Christina Marziatis. This is a long-standing series, so I know this world building is only going to continue to develop and get stronger and stronger as the series continues. But this installment laid the groundwork for something spectacular. And not only do we build the world physically, but we're also building the worlds of each of our characters. And there are a lot of them. So there's a lot of world left to go. But what I see is the foundation of something epic and masterful. So congratulations to Haunt for being the best world building in 2023. Congratulations. From a girl who's so sweet and true that she was brought back for another installment, to the one that was so captivating that she was granted her own, our next nominees know what it really means to steal the story. So whether it's an attempt to steal the leading man or just left us too early with questions. Here are your nominees for Best Female Supporting Character.
Tallulah from Making a Play by Abby Glines. Amara from Haunt by Christina Marziatis. Avery Owens from Love You Always by Lauren Lacey. Frida from Curse by Christina Marziatis.
And the winner for Best Female Supporting Character of 2023 goes to Tallulah from Making a Play by Abby Glines. I loved Tallulah. I loved her in her first installment, but I appreciate her so much in this one. Making a Play deals with our heroine who has a hearing disability. And Tallulah, through her own way, invites her in and befriends her and is able to give her someone to speak to, someone she can rely on in this world where she's traversing, and doesn't have to read lips. She can just speak to her with what feels comfortable. Tallulah in her first installment, yes, changed for the guy that she ends up with, but she made him say sorry. Not only is Tallulah sweet like a cupcake, but she's also strong and resilient. And there's no way she could not have won. Sometimes it's not always the biggest roles that hold the most impact. Sometimes it's those sideline characters. I hope I get to see more Tallulah in the remainder of this series. But if I don't, I know she's got big things ahead of her, and her sweetness will take her far. So congratulations to Tallulah for making a play by Abby Glines. This is the 5th installment to the Field Party series. I highly recommend this one if you want a small town, sweet romance with disability representation, and also an interracial couple. We also feature prejudice in this story, so please check your trigger warnings, but Abby Glines does a fantastic job of conveying it, but not using the obvious words. Conveying the struggles of a hearing disabled person, but showing how strong they shine when given the right tools and allowed to just do it themselves. Congratulations. If you've not checked out this Field Party series, you probably should, because it's epic and all installments are fantastic. And they read super, super fast, guys. They just give you that small town sense of hope where everything is possible, no matter what the challenges that face you are. So congratulations. Tallulah, I loved you in your book. And I loved you in this. Continue staying sweet. Sweet, silly, sarcastic, and sexy. These are the words that describe this year's nominees for Best Male Supporting Character. From a fey lawyer with hands and deals in everybody's pockets, to a slapstick cook tagging along just for the ride, to a puppy dog-eyed youth with a story that's yet to be written, and all the way to a second in command that earned his own story. Here are your nominees for Best Male Supporting Character.
The Bridge, Bryn Mawr, One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. Jesse McCoy from Curse by Christina Maraziatis. JB from Haunt by Christina Maraziatis. Spider, Carnal Urges by J.T. Geisinger.
And the winner for Best Male Supporting Character of 2023 goes to the puppy dog-eyed youth of the Love-Letting series, Curse by Christina Maraziatis. Jesse McCoy. Oh, Jesse. When I was choosing the winner for this category, I had 2 that really stuck out. One, I just couldn't get enough of, and I wanted a book of my own on this guy. I wanted it. And then Jesse. Jesse, I don't want a book of my own. But what I need is his story. He was so captivating in Curse. This puppy dog-eyed youth who's so loyal and follows Charlotte around and just kind of goes with everything. He had a hard life, but he's not a dick. He's sweet and caring and protective and tries to be dominant. He's not yet really reached manhood, and he's not tainted and jaded, but all the makings are there for something dark and deceitful and torturous and manipulative. I see a story, an origin story in Jesse, and that's why he got Best Male Supporting Character. Not because I want a book of just him on his own, because I want to know what the characters in the love letting series that Christina Marziatis have created are going to do to take him, rip him apart, eviscerate him on the page, and then what is going to be created when they Frankenstein build him back up. I want to know what all the twists and turns and secrets yet to be revealed, but I, as the reader, already know are going to do to him. He is that character that doesn't know anything. He's usually what the reader is. We don't know anything in books. We just know what the author is giving us at this time. But Christina, with Jesse, has flipped this and given us all of the information and him none of it. So as he's revealing it, we are seeing the buildings and makings of what could be one of the greatest villains. This could be the best villain origin story, or one of the strongest heroes because of what he's gone through. And some of the connections and the people he's connected to and the things he's already done. I'm on edge just thinking about it. So how could I not give it to him? How could I not? And besides, I'm a sucker for a pair of puppy dog eyes. Have you seen my husband? Please. Yeah. The only thing he doesn't have is the blue. He's got the brown, but the puppy dog eyes, still there. Still there. I'm a sucker for him. So congratulations, Jesse. You are this year's best male supporting character. And I hope your story is a good one. I mean, I know it's going to be a good one because of who's writing you. But I wonder which way she's going to take you. Is she going to take you down that villainous road? Or is she going to keep you pure and safe? A nice, fluffy cloud for us to rest our heads on in this book of twists and turns and dark undertones that just drives you insane? Or is she going to do something so unique with you that we will love to hate you and hate that we love you? I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Congratulations. I once said in a video, maybe I'm in a fairy tale kind of mood, and I just want to root for the villains once in a while. Those words have never been more true than when talking about this year's nominees for Best Villain. From the ones that I loved before I hated, and the ones I hated before I loved, all the way to the ones that I'm pretty sure are just clearly insane. All of these villains have left their markings on me. They have left me in tingles and shivers and a constant feeling of a target on my back that makes me want to keep coming back for more. So like I said last year, a toast to all my villains. May you always remain markings on my pages. Here are your nominees for Best Villain of 2023.
The Shadow of Theron, from The Shadow of Theron by Catherine Troy. Levi Krog, from Haunt by Christina Marziatis. Roman Fedorov, from One for My Enemy by Olive Blake. Wallace Williams, from Slewfoot by Brahm. James Miller, from Curse by Christina Marziatis.
Some of these villains, as I said, I loved before I hated. And hated before I loved. And some, well, their story isn't done yet. It's not done. So the insanity could get worse. It could get better. I have no idea. But what I do know is that the winner of this year's Best Villain Award did not come lightly. This villain hurt. When I read him on the page, I loved him. Physically, mentally, emotionally. And I was duped. I didn't see the darkness behind his eyes. My author did not give me that. It's always the nice ones you have to watch out for, I guess. So Levi Krog, congratulations. You stole my heart by making me hate you after loving you. Levi Krog is the winner for Best Villain from Haunt by Christina Marziatis. This guy, this fucking guy, he is a bounty hunter searching for Matt Kinnon. And he is described so perfectly. He's beautiful. And he's captivated Charlotte. And he's that guy that you just want to love, but he does all the wrong things. And he just got tired of being spurned one too many fucking times. And he finally snaps. And he commits one of the most heinous acts in this book. In this book. And it breaks your heart. The anger and pain that I felt when reading that culminating villain scene. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Because I didn't see it coming. I saw him being the nice guy finishing last, not the Joker from The Killing Joke. The snap. I did not see this snap in him, and then it happened, and it was too late, and I was in it, and I was a victim of him. It broke my heart to see those words of what he does on the page. It broke my heart because I loved him so much. And sometimes when it comes to villains in books, even if they break your heart, you still never forget them. Because you choose not to. Because that snap, that feeling of the author got one over on me and I didn't see it coming, is just too good of a rush to let go. Just too good. So, congratulations, Christina. You wrote one of the best villains of my year. You broke my heart with him. And you scared me with your other one. But this one hurt. This one hurt. Congratulations. I need a drink. Neil Gaiman once said, "I hope in this year to come that you make mistakes, because if you are making mistakes, then you are making new things, trying new things, learning, living, pushing yourself, changing your world. Never have there been more truer words spoken, especially if you apply it to my reading year of 2023. This past year, I have read more new to me authors than I can remember. Some, and many, were not hits with me. Some, I am dying and itching to read more, while others, through their stories, have become like family. Here are the nominees for Best New to Me Author in 2023. Good luck.
Lucian Bain, Bonnie Garmis, Elsie Silver, Olivia Blake, Christina Maraziatis, Brahm.
Before I announce the winner of Best New to Me Author of 2023, I'd like to say a special thank you to all of my nominated authors. If any of you see this, thank you so much for your stories. Thank you for sharing them with us and being as vulnerable as you are. I firmly believe that no matter what kind of story you're writing, the author puts a little bit of themselves into it. I mean, how could you not? And you are sharing that piece with complete and total strangers. Thank you for being so vulnerable and showing so much strength all in the same action. Some of these stories will stay with me forever. And some of you I will continue to read on. Actually, all the nominees, of course, I'm going to, because they were nominated, because they're fucking badasses. All right, let's just be honest with it. They're amazing. But to any author who sees this, thank you for doing it, for putting it out there. Even if it's not for me or for somebody else, it's for somebody. There is somebody out there who will understand your work and appreciate it and appreciate you in return. And that's very true for our winner. So to my winner of Best New to Me Author, I need to tell you something. The minute I closed this book, you were in this category. That was before you ever said a word to me. The minute I shut this book, I knew you were special, and I understood you, and I got a missing piece of me. It's one of the most beautiful things about books is we can be connected across time, across distance, across continents, across oceans, across cultures and nationalities. We can find missing pieces to ourselves all over the world through reading. And I found a missing piece when I shut your book. And I knew without a shadow of doubt that you were in this category. Did I know you were going to win? No, I didn't. Because I read this book damn near at the beginning of the year. But I knew then that I was forever going to be different because of your story and the little pieces of you that I saw in it. Because I saw myself there too. So, congratulations, Christina. You are the best new author to me of 2023, and I am so happy that you are part of my family. So thank you so much for your story. I hope the world will experience it one day. And is it for everybody? No. But for those who will take the time to really see it, they will see you. And you might be their missing piece as well, just like you were mine. I love you, and congratulations. From Spitfires to Survivors to Chemists, this year's nominee for Best Heroine in a Novel run the gambit of strength, cunning, and wonderment. Whether it's to start a revolution through your baking, or pulling yourself up from your darkest points, or just never forgetting what makes you you. This year's nominees are a force to be reckoned with, and I hope from the bottom of my heart that this is not the last I've seen of any of them. Here are your nominees for Best Heroine of 2023. Good luck, ladies.
Willa Grant from Heartless by Elsie Silver. Sloane from Carnal Urges by J.T. Geisinger. Elizabeth Zott, Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. Ava Fleiss from Finding Home, Hungry, 1945 by Dean Syken. Abatha from Slewfoot by Brahm. Charlotte Browning from Curse by Christina Marziatis.
And the winner for Best Heroine of 2023, without a shadow of a doubt, the only heroine that I 100% felt like embodied me, and yes, I'm picking her because I'm being fucking selfish right now because I fucking love this woman, Willa Grant from Heartless by Elsie Silver. The minute I read Willa, I felt a kindred spirit. I felt like someone saw me and put me in a damn book. Her thoughts, her attitudes, her spitfiriness, her just wanting to have a good time, and her ownership of who she is as a person, whether it's on her knees or just having a grand old fucking time. I felt like Willa represented me the most, and I have not felt that way about a female character in a long time. I find characters that I wish I had their characteristics that I embodied and I look for in myself. Willa had everything that I already have, and it was so nice to see her get a happy ending. It's nice to see the outspoken and blunt girl get the happy ending. And I just loved her for it. So, Elsie Silver, if you ever see this, thank you for creating a character that I 100% can stand behind. Thank you so much for her creation, because there are so many of her out there and you are looking at one. So thank you so much for her. She was a breath of fresh air at the time I needed it, and she helped push away a lot of the dark demons that were starting to form at the time when I read this book that happened to me last year. And she helped keep it at bay and reminded me of kind of who I was. So thank you for giving me that. I will always treasure it. Thank you so much. Whether he is a paranormal entity, or the Lord of the Flesh Eaters, a gangster with an Irish brogue, a hunted serial killer, or the hunter himself, or just a single dad. All of this year's nominees for Best Hero have left me wanting an ethereal experience, the thrill of the chase, a run through the cornfield, but most of all, just one more time. Here are your nominees for Best Hero of 2023. Good luck, boys.
Slewfoot from Slewfoot by Brahm. Vitus Adamson, Bring Me Flesh and I'll Bring Hell by Martin Rose. Declan from Carnal Urges by J.T. Geisinger. Mac Kinnon from Haunt by Christina Maraziatis. Marshall Patrick Tillman from Curse by Christina Maraziatis. Cade from Heartless by Elsie Silver.
And the winner for Best Hero of 2023. This one was hard. This one took some time figuring it out because all of these guys left me with something. But there was one. There was one that ripped my heart out. Ripped my heart out and made me look at it. And I love a book that can do that. I love a guy that can do that. So this year's winner is none other than Mac Kinnon from Haunt by Christina Maraziatis. Mac is a serial killer being hunted. He is not a nice man. He's gruff, he's rough, he's been through it all. But there's this piece, this little fragment of soft, that when you see it, without realizing it, you latch on and you never let it go. And as you're reading Haunt, that little piece keeps growing and growing and growing until you are enamored with him. And the hate that you felt earlier is completely washed clean. And then he rips your heart out. And you're left frozen in a moment that if you leave, it's goodbye. If you stay, you'll never know what could be. Because that hope that he gave you through that story, it's blossomed into this hope that this isn't the end. But you know it is. Mac was one of the most complex characters that I read last year. Ups and downs, in and out. He was eviscerated on the page and put back together again so many times I can't even count. And I really hope his story is not done. Congratulations. Those blue eyes will haunt forever. And they will also hurt as well. A pierced hero who will make all of your dark fantasies come true. A single dad with hidden dominance. A female dom with great taste in shoes. And a motorcycle club president who only speaks to her. All with a house that has more secrets than that fatal night. These are the top viewer recommended books of 2023. Thank you guys so much for these recs. And trusting me with the stories that you hold dear and love so much. You gave me some great nights that I will never forget and introduced me to some great authors and some great storylines that I plan on continuing with. So thank you to all of you. And here are your nominees.
Bait by Jade West. It Ain't Me, Babe by Tilly Cole. Ring Around the Rosie by L.A. Fiore and Anthony Dwayne. At Her Command by Joey W. Hill. Heartless by Elsie Silver.
Before I announce the winner, I want to thank everyone who recommended me a book in 2023. I did not do it every single month. I actually only drew 7 and I nominated 5. But I had such a great experience with it. Not only did I get to experience some really fantastic books. I mean, seriously, guys, you knocked it right out of the fucking park. You really did. But I also got to talk more with you guys and get to know more of you and find out what stories really make you guys tick. And I love that. I loved getting to know you guys. Now, if I did not choose your book last year, like I never drew it out, it's still in there because I am participating in my TBR viewer recommendation book again in 2024. So they're still in that jar. So there's still a chance I'm going to grab it soon. So please bear with me. But if you are just seeing this for the first time, I do have a book recommendation form. It's in the down box below. It's linked in every single one of my videos. So please feel free to recommend away and I will give it a full book review once I read it after I draw it. And if it's good enough, it's going to get nominated next year. So let's just be honest about that, guys. But to my nominees, these books all received either 4 or 5 stars from me. They were fantastic. And to my winner, this book gave me a character that I fucking adore, gave me a scene that I have replayed over and over. But I have no idea who gave it to me. I have no idea who recommended this book to me. They decided to remain anonymous. So if you did, please find a way to let me know so I can thank you properly, because Heartless by Elsie Silver was the best viewer recommended book to me in 2023. This thing was 5 stars out of the gate. I fucking ate this book up. This is the second installment to the Chestnut Spring series, and we follow Cade Easton and Willa Grant. Cade is a single dad, and Willa Grant is a nanny who is a spitfire. And Cade has this secret dominance that we're just like drooling when it comes around, and Willa is a force to be reckoned with, and I just ate her up. I have a full book review on this book. You can go check it out right here. And oh, so good. So to whoever suggested I read this book, thank you. Thank you so much for giving me one of my best reads of 2023. And you have no idea what this book did for me. It pushed back some of the darkness that I experienced last year just a little bit longer. So thank you for giving me that little bit of reprieve that it did. Thank you so much. And please, if you want, let me know, because I would love to thank you the right way, because this was a great recommendation. And you do not have to read book 1, which is Flawless, to understand this book, but to really appreciate Cade in this book, I recommend reading Flawless, just so you know. But thank you so much. I cannot wait to continue with this series, and I cannot wait to see the rest of your guys' recommendations in the coming year. Because after this experience, I know that I am in really, really good hands because you guys get me. Thank you so much. I fucking love this book. It was fantastic. Thank you again. A gothic Victorian Western that I picked up because the blue eyes on the cover beckoned me not to look away. A second chance that finally made it okay to compare me to Strawberries and Cream. A young girl who survived atrocities only to be taken home and to fight harder to attain this dream that kept her alive. A woman who used her kitchen to start a revolution. A small town romance with a heroine who is literally me on a page. The conclusion of some storylines and the beginnings of others. Memories being deleted because heartbreak was just too hard. a girl who embraces her power and dances with the devil. These are the stories that have captured my mind in 2023. These are the stories that I couldn't look away from, couldn't turn the page fast enough, couldn't believe that someone finally got it, and I couldn't let go. A great story to me is not one that entertains for a moment, but it digs in forcefully, painfully, gradually, through the back door even if it has to. But it gets in there and it never lets go. So whether it's because of the imagery we created within its pages, the heartbreak it makes you relive over and over again, the solidarity it gives you, or just because it haunts you, here are my nominees for Best Book of 2023. Your stories have held my attention for a year, and they'll continue to hold it well past that.
Love You Always by Lauren Lacey. Finding Home, Hungry, 1945 by Dean Syken. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. Haunt by Christina Maraziatis. Heartless by Elsie Silver. Love Deleted by Paul Indigo. Curse by Christina Maraziatis. Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brahm.
Okay, guys, it's time. It's time to find out the best book of the year. Before I let you know what it is, congratulations to all of this year's nominees. All of these books in this category touched me, and I will never forget their stories. Some are parts of series that I have already continued on with. Some are authors that I cannot wait for something else to come out so I can have another story of yours for my collection. Some of them are just too unique and too introspective to ever forget. Thank you to all the authors of the stories for Best Book of 2023, if any of you ever see this. Thank you so much. These stories got me through one of the toughest years that I've had in a long time. Thank you for being there for me, for a place to land on, whether it was hard, soft, or fairly indifferent, depending on which book I was talking about. Thank you for finally giving me a reason to not cringe when someone compares me to a damn strawberry. Thank you for making me remember why I love holding on to my memories and why heartbreak, no matter what you do, you will never escape it. And thank you for reminding me of what I can do with the skill sets that I have. And thank you for allowing me to remember my own power and knowing that my brazenness and my outspokenness would not have been treasured in another lifetime. So be thankful that I have it now. So, last year's book of the year was Empire the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. Joining it in its honorary category of Best Books, the second First Lady Reads Award ever for Best Book goes to Haunt by Christina Maraziatis. I read this book in the beginning of the year. I originally gave it 4 stars, and I never stopped talking about it. I never stopped thinking about it, and it slowly grew and gained that 5th star, because it dug in painfully, gradually, and in some cases through the back door. It dug in and it has refused to let go. This book has swept the awards, I know, but there's a reason. It is amazing. It is amazing work of fiction by Christina, who is a debut author. Not only is this the first installment to a series, this is her first book ever. And I could not stop thinking about it. So congratulations, Christina, on Book of the Year. I know it's not a trophy. I know it's not an award with money. But to me, this book will always hold a special place in my heart because it's one of the best of the best. And I have yet to stop talking about it. Congratulations to all this year's nominees and all this year's winners. Every single story that I've talked about, every single book I have referenced, I highly recommend. Go check them out. If I have a review on any of these books, including the Book of the Year, which I do have a full book review on, all of them will be linked in the down box below. So please go check them out and give them a shot, because they will all leave you wanting something. Maybe not the same thing I was left with, but they will leave you with something, because there's that many layers, that many intrigues, that many characters, that many plethora of experiences that everyone can experience with. Congratulations, and I will see you guys next year for the 3rd First Lady Reads Awards. And I cannot wait to see what those books are. Again, congratulations to all my winners. And Christina, you wrote a kick-ass fucking book. You really did. Awesome job. I've said it a million times. Congratulations. It was perfect.